A very good afternoon to you, and thank you for joining us. This is Africa Showdown, and I hope your Sunday is going on very well, where we bring you what is happening, the stories that are making headlines across the continent. And of course, we shall start with some Kenyan news first, because of the BBI conversation that is important and is here with us for a while. And then later on, we shall go and see what else is happening across the continent. A bit of some unrest happening there in Ethiopia and also in Morocco there. I was watching some news article a while ago about the people of Zahawari, the western part of Morocco, and there's a ceasefire there the last 30 years ago that Moroccan government seems to have violated, and now it has renewed calls for them wanting their independence. So a lot of things are happening in the continent, and those are just some of the few things that we shall be looking at on today's show. My name is Miriam Ogutu, and thank you so much for finding time to be with us. And joining me on the show today is Professor Jared Onyari. Professor, very good afternoon to you. Very well. Well, as Professor works on his signal and will join us shortly, we have Daniel Wesonga. Daniel, good afternoon.
Yes, very good afternoon, Miriam Ogutu at our headquarters in Nairobi, and our viewers in Kenya, Africa, and the rest of the world. Afternoon.
All right, very well. And we're also joined by Javan Karanja from Nanyuki. Javan, good afternoon.
Good afternoon, Miriam. Good afternoon to our viewers, wherever they're watching us from. Good afternoon and good morning to those who are maybe where they are this morning.
All right, thank you. Yes, indeed, because we're watched with viewers from across the world. So you are right. There are those who are just waking up right now. So a very good morning to you. In case you're joining us from the US and other parts of the world that are just waking up right now, thank you so much. And also we are joined today by Douglas Bundi Karimi. Douglas, good afternoon.
Good afternoon, Miriam. And good afternoon to people from Meru.
All right, very well. You're representing Meru is well represented today, courtesy of Douglas Kirimi. Thank you so much for finding time to be with us this afternoon. And also Professor Jared Onyari. Professor, good afternoon. Very well. So Professor is working on joining us. Technology, a bit of a signal problem there, but he shall be with us shortly. And as we speak right now, the confirmed cases in terms of COVID-19 in Kenya stands at 69,273 cases. The death toll is at 1,228 cases, and recoveries right now is at 44,872. And because of the interest of time, I will not even get into the rest of the details. So let's just move quickly to what is happening here in Kenya, and of course the headlines that we have today. And even as we look at one of our topics there, why the BBI should not be amended, and BBI is the only redemption strategy for Kenya. I'd like to hear your thoughts on that. And to help us start this conversation, let me just read through the headline there on the Sunday Nation that says, "Battle for referendum bill changes." And Uhuru and Raila set stage for campaigns this week. Draft laws will be next battlefront against Ruto allies, with divisions over amendments to strike deal on final document that is expected to guide next year's BBI vote. Let me just read that, because that will form the basis of our discussion this afternoon on the BBI. On page 8 there of the Daily Nation, it says the leaders of 2 parliamentary committees have called a meeting on Wednesday to consider proposals on how to harmonize 2 controversial referendum bills as they race against time to put in place a legal regime. This comes as the contentious issues that some consider political traps emerged, with 2 opposing sides expected to include or throw them out of the final document. A roadmap released by lawmakers allied to President Uhuru Kenyatta and Orange Democratic Movement leader Raila Odinga set June 2021 as the time to hold the Building Bridges Initiative referendum. MPs are keen to have the law in place to secure the process. And So handshake after the March 9th, 2018 handshake between President Uhuru Kenyatta and the then National Super Alliance opposition leader Raila Odinga, a committee was formed to look into uniting the country after a highly divisive election. The two called it the Building Bridges Initiative. Members of the BBI task force under the leadership of Garissa Senator Yusuf Haji went around the country collecting collecting views, and the report was released in Kisii County on October 21st. Then launched at the Bomas of Kenya in Nairobi days later. And this is the second draft, because the first draft also was handed over to President Uhuru Kenyatta and was launched last year in November. So this is the second part. And from what we've been hearing for the people who are calling for some amendments, they're saying this building of bridges initiative is supposed to build bridges, not build, walls. Douglas Kirimi, we'll start with you. Are they right in their stand?
Yes, Miriam.
All right, I'm saying for the people who have been calling, because we're looking at the amendments that a section of the politicians have been asking for and calling for in the country, and they're saying the building of bridges initiative was supposed to build bridges, but from whatever it is that they're saying, it is only building walls. Are they honest in their quest to looking for the amendments they want in the BBI?
No, Miriam.
Why so?
We have had 2 years of correcting views and also readers giving out their views across the country. And the same readers have fashioned themselves and BBI taking every opportunity across this country, funding people, readers, to go and talk bad and evil about BBI. When they have seen that the BBI report is about to sail through a referendum, and then we have a constitutional amendments that are going to change this country for good, these people are coming back again to come and oppose the BBI process and sabotage it at the point it is to be. We cannot allow, and I also think the president and the former prime minister cannot allow anyone to come up with amendments today. They are as if they lived in Uganda or lived in some other country or US. This is Kenya. We've had 2 good years. The first draft came and the second draft came. Now they want the BBI process to go for a third round of views, which we cannot allow because everyone gave their views. People in my village went for a town hall, they gave their views. Readers gave their views. We went to KICC, people gave their views. Where were these readers? They were across this nation bashing BBI report and talking evil about BBI report. What has changed today? Mm-hmm. What has changed again that these people want BBI to be amended again to include their views, which they could not go to the committee, which they could not go to KICC and give out their views. So they are not genuine, Miriam. They are about to sabotage the BBI process and they want it to fail. So in my opinion, they are not genuine. Mm-hmm. And their views, I think, if they had some, are represented in the BBI report because it has taken over 2 years to correct these views, Miriam.
Mm-hmm. So in your own assessment, you're saying these people who are calling for amendments now, they're not being very honest in them seeking for that because they had 2 years to put forth their views, and we have not seen a lot of them coming out and saying, you know what, this is what I would have wanted, put in the BBI, or this is what I had presented to the BBI team and it was never captured, meaning really they never bothered to, in that 2 years time frame, they never bothered to go and give their views, but now they're saying, you know what, since perhaps this BBI process is really unstoppable, so perhaps now we might as well just join it, but you're coming in with preconditions, and these are just some of the things that we are uncomfortable with and we would like to see amended there in the BBI. Daniel, they're saying, the building of bridges, it should be about building of bridges, but they're saying, according to them, the people who are seeking for these amendments, our politicians, are saying the BBI has turned into a wall building project like that one Trump failed to build in the US.
Miriam, as Douglas has said, for over 2 years, the BBI task force extended an olive branch, an arm of willingness to these particular individuals to bring their views upon the table so that they could be incorporated in the BBI report. That was the time the bridges were being built. And the task force moved around the country, holding over 93 public forums. They received memorandums at the KICC, and these people, whatever they did, was not to go and present their views. Then, when the window of opportunity was quite wide open. And now coming to us, telling us that now these building bridges initiatives is no longer building bridges when they ignore the cause and the right timelines to present their views. I think it is all kind of, it is malice, Miriam. And this shows a group of people who are not particularly interested in building these particular bridges that they are talking about. Because when everyone was coming together to bring views that will take this nation forward, they gave it a wide berth, and some even went to an extent of bashing the entire report and calling all sorts of names. So to me, I think they are very ingenuine. There are people who are just playing delay tactics. There are people who are in there to sabotage this entire process. So to me, allowing them to bring their views at this critical hour when the BBI report is about to take root is really a poison chalice, and it's going to have some very serious implications to the report because of the timelines. So I agree with Douglas that we should not allow these people derail the momentum that the BBI report has taken right now. And as it is right now, Miriam, the train has already left the station. Let whoever who has contrary views and opinions wait for the referendum question to come out, and then the ballot shall be able to decide whether Kenyans want the BBI report or not. But right now, extending the door for consensus and all kind of talk, it's going to bring so much mayhem. It's going to bring confusion. And at the end of
All right. Okay, thank you so much there, Daniel Wesonga, Jevan Karanje joining us from Nanyuki. And you've seen this is something that we talked about. We've been talking about, and now these politicians who are coming out now demanding for amendments, demanding for changes, demanding for more consultation. They had 2 good years to put forth their opinions. Why do you think they didn't do that when they had time to do that? And now they're coming in demanding for these amendments they want? Javan? All right, Professor.
Miriam, the question is why BBI should not be amended? Nobody has said that BBI cannot be amended. When you write an essay, and when you go through it, Miriam, and you find there are some spelling mistakes, do you leave that spelling mistakes? Do you leave that comma? Do you find a sentence which does not make sense? You just leave it in that. So BBI can only be amended, Miriam, on common sense. Common sense here, that I mean that, Miriam, like now, the Senate, we are talking 47. Miriam, those disadvantaged groups, Miriam, the fiscal challenge, Miriam, they have been left out, and they have raised their concern, and I hope their concern can be considered. Miriam, like now in the National Assembly, the 12 seats which were for the marginalized, for serious professionals, Miriam, who will not be captured after being elected, Miriam. Those concerns have been raised. They are in the Constitution, and if there is no improvement, Miriam, on them, then there is no need to remove for them. Miriam, in some areas, we have some pastoralists, Miriam, they will not be able to understand that pastoralism is also part of agriculture. Miriam, that one we can also amend, and so that we bring it very clear. I saw the people for Mombasa coming, and also want the poor economy to be included. Poor economy is also agriculture, Miriam, where there is ambiguity. There's room, Miriam, to make it very clear. And let me tell you, Miriam, if you want to go to equity, they say you go with equity with clean hands. If these are brothers and sisters of ours, Miriam, who are asking for time, for consensus, can they bring a document, Miriam, which you can see? A document. You say this is what we are saying, and this is what they are refusing, Miriam. They are only saying, Miriam, oh, we want more time. And honestly, as Douglas and as Daniel have said, Miriam, I don't know whether it is a coincidence, and I need my fellow panelists to help me. I don't know whether it is by coincidence that the people who were peddling lies about BBI, the people who were speaking lies about BBI, it will create positions for people. They are the same ones who are asking for consensus and asking for more time. Other Kenyans took time to take their views. the steering committee, Miriam. And even those who have been very concerned, Miriam, they have been able to meet the Prime Minister and the President on the areas where they have got their concern. And Miriam, let me have this to say. The two gentlemen, the President and the Prime Minister, they are the initiators of this. If you have an issue, why don't you just go and discuss them? So Miriam, those who are asking more time, those who are asking for more consultation, those who are asking for consensus, Miriam, we have said it here and Daniel did say it here. If we are not very careful, Miriam, these people are buying time and we will be caught down with no something to give to the people of Kenya, Miriam. They are trying to put every obstacle. I saw the other day, Mukomen trying to say, oh, there's 14 billion for the referendum, and there's no money for COVID, Miriam. Do you know how expensive peace is? Can you quantify this? Do you know within a fraction of a second we will destroy all the development, Miriam, we have made since independence? Let them just go to 2007, 2008, and realize what happened during the post-election violence, Miriam. Kenya was heading towards a double-digit economy, Miriam, double-digit on our GDP. But within a fraction of a second, Miriam, we went to negative. And we have tried for almost 15 years now, Miriam, almost 15 years or so. We have not even reached 5%. So that is the importance of peace. Let them not lecture us on how much money is going to be spent when they cannot account to us who took money for NYS, who took money for Kimorera and Road Dam. So Miriam, this is politics. They are trying to buy time, and we should be focused to know what we need. But I'm happy the roadmap has been given. On Thursday or so, we are launching the signatures. Miriam, the exercise is going on. Whoever feels that his views have not been captured, Miriam, it is easy possible, Miriam. Let them correct 1 million signatures
and go post
forward to IBC.
Yes.
With a referendum, with a referendum question, Miriam, the way Kuro Kothi did, and they can amend. It is not a must that the BBI is the only one to amend. This is not the end of the route of amending the constitution of this country. So Miriam, from where I sit, the documents should not be amended. It should only be amended on common sense and if people are honest. If something which has been was not properly captured and you are honest, bring it on table.
All right,
but don't take us round. I submit.
So you're saying here honesty is a factor, and Douglas, we've seen a lot of these politicians who are now asking.
Miriam.
Yes. Oh, Jevon, very well. You've joined us. Yes.
Yeah, I'm back, and thank you very much for that opportunity. And today, Miriam, I have this to say that if we allow these people, the people who fought this document in the first place, to bring the consensus, what are they consenting about? Because at the end of the day, we know these are the people who are fighting the document even before it was launched. Miriam, I think these people were caught by surprise because they thought that this process was a joke. They had narrated the process and they thought this process will not see the light of the day. But now the train has already left the station, and what we need to do is to rectify maybe some or two things that were omitted in the editing of the document, so that we can have a final document that is well fine-tuned. And the rest of the people, they refuse to take their recommendation. Whose recommendation are they coming to amend? Because if they took their recommendation in the first place, then they could have a ground to say that they want to change one or two things. But as it stands now, they didn't present their recommendation. Miriam, I think people who should be given a priority to change or to amend anything is the people who presented it in the first place, because they might have forgotten to enter some or two, three things. But it is now the people who are talking of consensus. These are the same group that oppose the document. Therefore, we cannot have a consensus on a document that they don't believe on.
Yes.
And then moving forward, I think the Prime Minister, the former Prime Minister, have given a limelight that around this time, the full light of this document will be seen. And it's about the time we are about to correct the signatures. And Miriam, you'll see how Kenyans will come to sign in, because they want these changes to come. And Miriam, even as we move on, as it comes to the county assemblies, I know that last week the consensus meeting of MCAs was cancelled because of the rising cases of the COVID-19. I hope they will be able to discuss it in their respective county assemblies, so that at the end of the day, we'll have it through the 24 counties, and Kenyans will have the final say when it comes to the referendum. And that is it. And today happens to be I hear it's the birthday of the former president, Mwai Kibaki, and he happens to come from the same county that I originated from, the Nyeri County, and it's specifically Othaya constituency. Happy birthday to him, and we still see the good things that he started. The president of the day is still working on them to realize and to achieve the Vision 2030 that will take this country to a transformative and progressive development journey. Thank you.
All right. Thank you so much. And indeed, a happy birthday to our third president here, former President Mwai Kibaki. And we wish you good health and long life. All right. Happy birthday from the Punchline Africa team and, of course, Kenyans. And also happy to note that we've been joined there, on our doctor, David Matanga, is watching us. And thank you. Thank you for watching. He's been busy. When he's done, he shall join us back here. But thank you so much, Doctor, for finding time to join us today. All right, very well. So, Douglas, I was asking before, this crop of politicians who are now calling for consensus, who are now calling for a wider consultation, who are now calling for amendments, they are the same people who have been opposing the whole process, saying this was meant to just create more, more positions. That has been what they've been going around the country saying. And now they're coming in and they want this BBI report changed. But they have not told us yet if they're supporting the report in the first place. Because before you make some demands, I think it will be okay if they made it clear to Kenyans and indeed their supporters, if at all they're supporting the BBI process, and then after that they can, come tell us, the parts that they're a bit uncomfortable with. But they've not even said they're supporting the process. So do they have a right to come in and even ask for these changes on a process that they don't even believe in, Douglas?
Thank you, Miriam. In a process of clear competition, there must be two signs for it to be called a competition. There has been a competition of ideas and competition of words and competition of thoughts and ideologies across this nation for the last 2 years. These people were telling us BBI is a waste of public resources and BBI is a waste of our time, and we need to empower Kenyans using other means. And it is the same group of people that are calling today for amendments to the report. I want to correct my good professor. We are not amending the report. The Right Honorable, the Prime Minister said the other day that the only thing that can be done is editorial works. What Professor is saying is about editorial processes, and there's nothing that can be done today to accommodate them because it's been 2 years, 2 good years, Miriam. So what can be done now is that these people can come today and bring their the BBI report can only be edited to suit and to like the professor was saying, like blue economy to appear on the section on agriculture and others. So it's just some small editorial brands, like you can receive reports in your studio today and you can edit them a little bit before you go on air. So there's nothing much we can do today, and they are not genuine, and they are not right. There's no right. The only thing they can do now is to go and wait us at the referendum so that we can compete based on the referendum that is going to come up. I'll give you some rumor monger around town. These people have no money to wage a strong competition or a strong war on this referendum to fail. So the only thing they can do is to sabotage it using media and coming out and talking about amendments. In the first place, they don't believe in BBI report. They don't believe in the president. They don't support the president. They don't support his agenda. Their work is to wake up every morning and sabotage His Excellency the President. Whatever peace process the president is doing today, his redemption strategy is being sabotaged by these people for the last 2 years, Miriam. So there is no way these people have a right to come today and are rude that they need amendments to a report that they don't believe in, to a people that they don't believe in, to a president that they don't believe in, and to a process that they don't support even for a single minute, Miriam. There is no way you can come to my house and tell me how I should arrange my bed and how I should arrange the kitchen and the table and my TV and everything. And you don't sleep in my house. You're not interested in my house. There's nothing we can do now. The only thing we can do now is that we are waiting for this report and for the signatures to commence so that we can pass this report at the referendum, Miriam. Thank you.
All right, well, Professor, we've noted that even when they are criticizing and they're calling for certain things to change, they seem not to be giving an alternative. They're not saying, okay, so now that we feel that there will be a huge number of parliamentarians should this BBI go through, but this is what we are suggesting, or now that we are thinking the executive, as much as it has been proposed in the BBI, we feel we're not comfortable with it, but this is what we're proposing instead. They're not giving options here or other solutions that perhaps the team could consider. So what exactly? Why do you think so?
Miriam, I have said before, and I will continue to say, the process of correcting views for the change of the constitution, Miriam, has been very consultative. Everybody was given an opportunity, Miriam, to take their views. I have not seen any Kenyan saying that I took my views and Miriam, they were rejected. Miriam, if they give their views, let us give an unlikely scenario that they are given an opportunity to give their views, Miriam. It means their views, Miriam, will be captured and will be brought for Kenyans to validate. Do we have that time? Because what they are going to say, Miriam, it does not mean that other Kenyans, Daniel is there to say that I don't want this. I can hear Douglas saying I don't want this. So Miriam, I have said and I want to say this, that these people are looking for an excuse. These are the no proponents. They are looking for an excuse to say that we wanted consensus. These people refused, and now we are opposing the document. Miriam, even the church, Miriam, the Catholic Church, the church, the clergy, I saw them representing their views, Miriam. And who tells this clergy, Miriam, that they can come and say that what Daniel has given, because the steering committee was not writing things from the moon. They were capturing issues of Kenyans. Why do they want to thrust my ideas or Daniel's ideas or another Kenyan? The best we can do is to have those views correlated, be put in a form of a referendum question. If you are comfortable with it, Miriam, vote for them. If you are you are not comfortable with it, say no, and it will be very democratic. Who tells you that, Miriam, they will not garner numbers to shoot this thing down? If they feel that it's not good for Kenyans. So the people of Kenya, Miriam, will decide whether this document is good. And let them just hear this, Miriam. I don't like just giving ranks of them. Kenyans, we are starting correcting signatures tomorrow. And you are talking about the consensus and the consultation with who? When you will be talking about the consensus, it means you are not even going to give to put your signature. So they are time barred. The document is good. We are making a document for posterity, but after some time, Miriam, we will amend. We had 2010 constitution. We are amending it now. It will be amended in the future. Imagine, Miriam, after this is the first amendment.
Okay, so Tharaka-Nithi, Senator Kithure Kindiki Aruto allies missed the idea of a referendum bill, saying the country is in problems due to the poor performance of the economy. Every government in the world over is working to prevent collapse due to the COVID-19 pandemic, but ours is the only one that is politicking. Professor Kindiki said, adding that priority should be to protect millions of Kenyans from the ravages of the pandemic. And he said the legislations that should be of focus should be those of the ballooning national debt and how to revive the economy. So he's saying the only country that is politicking right now is only Kenya. Last I checked, US, one that is leading in terms of the numbers that have been confirmed in deaths, went to its election, because also that is also a very important part of, an event in a country. COVID-19 did stop the elections in America to happen. But Kithure is saying we happen to be the only country that is politicking right now. All the focus should be turned on development and how to fight COVID-19 and all that. Daniel.
Yes, I find it quite hypocritical, not only to talk about the US that had gone to the election in Tanzania the other day, but for someone who has been consistently politicking when the president called upon them to support his legacy and the Big Four agenda. They were the same people who are moving in Harambes, going to church functions and funerals to degrade the Big Four agenda and the progress of this country. Now that we are talking about the BBI report, they are become so sanctimonious that now they talk all the kind of stuff. I saw Murkomen talk about the cost of the BBI vis-a-vis whatever we are having now. And I find it quite very unfortunate because these are people who could not even account for the 23 billion that was lost in Kimarer and Road Dam scandal. The same Murkomen has been implicated in the NYS1 scandal. And he hasn't explained to Kenyans where those billions disappeared to. And therefore, as Professor says, it is very, very unfortunate that we have politicians who quantify the cost of peace and the prosperity of this country. Because even some of those economic problems that Professor Kindiki Kithure, a learned man he is talking about, the problems that the BBI report is seeking to really address. And when you look at the plan of the president in the State of the Nation address that he gave recently, he talked about zero tax exemption of the low-income earners who are earning below 24,000 shillings in a month. He talks about a reduction of VAT from 30 to 25. He talked about a reduction of all corporate taxes from 16 to 14. So those are some of the issues, And Miriam, when you really address issues from the lowest, the tail end of it, as the president is doing, then those are issues that are affecting a majority of our populations. And when you do such a robust economic overhaul, I believe that is how the lives of Kenyans will be able to improve. And those who are opposing the BBI report, I believe there are people who have not read the BBI report entirely and with comprehension. And that is why they are able to give armchair analysis about the good report and be able to dismiss it like the good professor is doing. So to me, I think his views are political and they do not really align to the plight and the aspirations of the people of Kenya, of a better country, a prosperous country, and a country which is united despite of ethnic diversity, religious, social, and political inclinations. So to me, I think he's just playing mere politics, and it's a hypocrisy of the highest order to make such claims, Miriam.
Javan, Professor Kithure Kindiki saying there that we have a priority very wrong. Javan?
Yeah, thank you, Miriam. And I agree with what Daniel is saying. And one thing, Miriam, if we take it clear, the professor will think that these are the people who, in the first place, they don't believe that there was COVID-19. These are people who went around breaking all the government protocols and guidelines to ensure that we curb the spread of COVID-19. Therefore, he cannot come now to say that the government is not giving COVID-19 a priority when he has been front line of sidelining those kind of protocols that could ensure that we have zero tolerance to COVID-19. Therefore, he has been hypocritical because in his team, these are the people who went around gathering all kinds of political gathering in this country, in the churches and so on, pretending to be giving wheelbarrows and those kind of mikokoteni, but only to be realized that it was only for public, for PR display. And Miriam, number two thing, these are the people who have been in the political arena campaigning for the 2022 prematurely. When the president asked them to support his legacy, they went out to campaign. And the president has been on record of warning them of the consequences of sidelining the work of the Wanjiku to the work of their own political interests. Miriam, therefore, I agree that he is acting only and he is playing his political games because he thinks that there is a mass that he wants to excite that the referendum is expensive. Miriam, number two thing, they are talking under the Murkomen. I saw his Twitter. He is saying that the cost of doing this referendum is expensive. Miriam, the amount of money that has been lost to corruption in this country is quite huge compared to the amount that we are going to use for the referendum. Number two being number three, if the amount that we have lost in the corruption is a big amount, and the number of people who have been in these scandals, most of them are allies of the deputy president and the side of the other politicians, and all of this money is big. Miriam, they cannot say that this amount is big when we go for an election and we have the violence that erupts, like in 2007. The people who suffer, the amount of property, if they are taken into money terms, that is big money than what we are going to use for the referendum. The amount of wastage of time, the number of people who get injured, the deaths that we suffer in this nation, these are things that we cannot sideline because of an expensive process. Miriam, I said this, even if this process will be expensive, let it be expensive because this is a curative mechanism, this is a curative strategy that we are using to cure all the processes that have been bringing chaos and chaos in this nation. Therefore, Miriam, whether it will be expensive, whether it will be cheap, at the end of the day, this is a permanent curative solution. And Miriam, when you cure something, when you have disease and you want to be cured, you don't care about the amount, you care about your health. This is what we are talking about. We care for the health of this nation, we care for the prosperity of this country. Therefore, even if the process is expensive, but I understand it's not expensive, then let it go for it. Miriam, if it was an election, we could have that money. If we go for the elections, we go for elections, but they don't talk about that amount. Miriam, we have bodies that ensure that we have oversight, that ensure that the IBC uses the right amount. Therefore, they are not the people to talk on behalf of the IBC. IBC can talk on its behalf. We have people who can give us the right information. And Murkomen and Kithure Kindiki, I don't think they're the right people to talk of expensive process when they have been in centers of all corruption scandals in this country. Thank you, Miriam.
All right, very well. Thank you so much. Now, Douglas, what Professor Kithure Kindiki is saying is that every government in the world over is working to prevent collapse due to the COVID-19 pandemic. But ours is the only one that is politicking. And, you know, a few issues there that Javen has just raised, because Kithure Kindiki and a few other politicians have been the one they've caught in public during this COVID-19 pandemic in the country, going around the country, attending rallies, attending church services, without even observing these COVID-19 measures that have been put in place to ensure that it does not spread. So he has been one of the people who have violated these measures, and we've seen that happen in public. But also them coming out and calling the process expensive, and at the same time they want to be included. I want to understand, but let's start with the first question there, Douglas. Is Kithure Kindiki even honest in his opinion that COVID-19 should be? Of course, we understand that the government has really put a lot of effort in the fight against COVID-19, but is coming out and castigating the efforts by the government, and yet he's been one of the people who are
of the people of those nations. For example, the problems of this country are tailor-made for this country, or they are unique to the people of Kenya. The problems of Tanzania are unique to the people of Tanzania. The problems of the USA are the problems tailor-made or problems unique to the people of USA. Around the world, Miriam, if you can Google right now, there are so many countries that are politicking for different purposes and different reasons. There are other countries that are on record for different things. There are countries at war today. They didn't stop because COVID has come. For example, you cannot stop doing your thing because misfortune has come your way. So the good professor is misreading his followers, who I am not. In this country, we are facing a crisis, electoral crisis. Every 5 years, we have problems in this country that emanate from electoral processes in this country. And that is what BBI is trying to heal. And the good professor and many politicians that benefit from such processes are against the BBI process. Again, COVID came into this country. COVID cannot stop BBI process because our problems will not go when COVID goes. We need to solve our problems within the precincts of where we are today. For example, in economics, we say that you cannot solve your problems with the money that you have. You can solve your problems with the money that you have. When you solve it, when you solve your problems in the matter of priorities. Right now, our time has come to correct problems that we have as a country. And we have an emergency that came in form of COVID. And COVID cannot stop an idea whose time has come. We need processes in this country that are going to change this country for better. We need to leave this country for posterity. Again, Miriam, on the issue of, I've heard Javan talk about the issue of spending on referendum and spending on COVID and everything. People should be told the truth about COVID. COVID is a dangerous disease that has taken a lot of money from the government, from we the people, to take care of, and 14 billion or 2 billion, 14 billion or 2 billion or 5 billion to take care of processes, like a process like BBI is not a lot of money. Remember, the same people that are moving around the country talking about huge spending on BBI process, referendum and everything, stole a cool 21 billion shillings, Miriam. And one of their leaders had the audacity to say it is only 21, or it is only 7 billion that has been lost. Can they recover that money and give us, and so that we can take it to BBI referendum? The same people, Miriam, that are talking about accountability are the same people who formed this government with President Uhuru Kenyatta and abandoned him along the way and ran away after eating the money and stealing a lot of money from this country. The other day we saw the report from the OPPs. Come